Okay, so we're going to make this vintage pot holder, or a hot pad dress is what I call it, because you really don't want to use this as a pot holder. You could, but you got to be careful with the holes that you don't touch your skin with it. But mainly these are great for gifts that you can give, where you can put your hot plates on top of at parties, or just for your own kitchen as a hot pad. And you can do different colors. Today we're going to do the blue and the beige, but you can use this fun for Christmas. You can do green or red, and you can just switch up the colors however you like. But this is from a vintage pattern and kind of used from the vintage free pattern, but also modified to the right size too. And I will show you all the stuff that you're going to need to make this project. For this project, I'm choosing the blue color as well as a beige, or you can use white, whatever colors that you want to use. And you're also going to need an H size hook, crochet hook, a tapestry needle, and a pair of scissors. So we're going to get started. And we're going to start with the main color that you're going to use for your pot holder. And the first thing we're going to do is chain 20. And I'm going to go ahead and make a slip knot. And chain 20 single chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now you're going to want to do a slip stitch into your beginning chain. So go into your beginning, take your yarn and pull it through. And you have your slip stitch to form a ring. Now into this ring, we're going to do what are called a treble crochet. So for the first treble crochet, you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now into the circle, we're going to do 39 treble crochets. I'm going to show you how to do the first few, and then when we come back, I'll show you the next step. So for the first treble crochet, what you're going to do is take your yarn, you can hold it like this, and you're going to yarn over twice. And you're going to go into the circle, pull up the yarn, and you should have 4 on your hook. And you're going to yarn over again and draw through 2. So now you have 3 on your hook. And then yarn over again, draw through 2, and you have 2 left on the hook. Yarn over again and draw through the last 2, and that's your first treble crochet. So now you should have 2 into the ring. So I'm going to show you how to do another one. Again, I'm going to yarn over twice, and you can kind of see where my fingers are for the easiest way to hold the yarn. Yarn over twice, and then go through the circle, and then yarn over again. Now you should have 4 on the hook. You're going to yarn over again, and then bring it through 2. And then you have 3 left on the hook. So you're going to yarn over, bring it through 2 again, and then yarn over, bring it through 2 again. So now we have 3 trebles. You can pull them along the circle to keep them bunched together. Okay, so I'm going to show you again one more in slow, and then I'll speed it up. So 2 yarn overs, go into the ring, pull up another. Now you have 4 on the hook. Yarn over, bring through 2. Yarn over, bring through 2. Yarn over and bring through the last 2. So now we have 4 treble crochets into the ring. So now I'm going to do a fast one. We have 5. Do another fast one. 6. Do another one. 7. Then one more. A little tricky there. All right, so I want you to complete 39 of the same stitch that I'm doing, 39 treble crochet into the circle, and then come back and I'll show you how to move on to the next step. All right, so you should be done with your 39 treble crochets into the circle. So what you want to do now is just take and move everything so it's evenly spaced around. And before you completely get it the way you want it, you can slip stitch. Go ahead and slip stitch to the beginning treble crochet, and how you do that is you take to the very top of your first treble crochet, like so, and pull the thread through and pull it through the chain on your hook. So we've threaded through, slip stitch together, so you just want to space it evenly. This is going to be the collar for the dress. Once you get it the way you like, we're going to do double crochets. So go back to where you slip stitched, and we're going to chain 3 for your beginning double crochet. Now you're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch. So you have 2 double crochets in your first stitch, like so. Now you're going to do 1 double crochet until you reach the halfway mark, and you're going to do another double crochet in the same stitch. So there's only 2 stitches that we do 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and that's in the beginning and then halfway through. So now I'm going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. So you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2, and that's 1 double crochet. So a single double crochet into each stitch until you reach the halfway mark. So I'll show you a couple. It's a double crochet. Now I'm going to do another double crochet into the next stitch. So 1 double crochet into each stitch until you get halfway done. So I'll show you one more, and then we'll stop, and then you'll come back when you've completed this part of the project. Okay, so 1 double crochet in each stitch to the halfway mark, and then I'll show you how to finish the rest. Okay, so your work should look like this. You're at the halfway mark, and we have 1 double crochet at the halfway mark. We're going to do 1 more in the same stitch. So you had 2 double crochets in your initial stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each chain all the way around to the halfway mark, and then you put 2 double crochets into that stitch. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch back to the beginning. So I'll do 1 more, and then you'll come back and I'll show you how to finish the next row. So 1 double crochet in each stitch back around to the beginning. All right, we're almost back to the beginning, so 1 double crochet in each stitch, and your work should look like this. Now we're going to slip stitch back to the beginning chain. Let's bring the yarn through, and you've completed row 2 of your potholder dress. Now we're going to chain 3. This is going to be your first double chain for the next round, and you're going to do 1 double chain in each stitch all the way back around. So I did the first one. Now in the next stitch, do a double crochet. So we're doing 1 double crochet in each stitch. I'm going to do a couple more for you, and then we're going to stop and have you come back when you've finished 1 double crochet in each stitch. So your work should be looking like this, and we're almost back to the end of the row. So keep doing the 1 double crochet in each stitch back to the beginning. Now we're going to do a slip stitch at the top of your beginning chain. So you go into the top, yarn over and bring the yarn back through, and then bring it through your last stitch. So now we're going to change colors, and this is how the first 3 rows look on the dress so far. So now to change colors, I'm going to be using a beige color, but you can use white, beige, whatever colors you like for your project. Now you're going to take your new yarn and you're going to hold your base of the yarn here, take your hook and hook the yarn and pull it through your loop. You're going to take and chain 1. Now we're going to tie a knot on the back. You can go ahead and cut the previous color. In my case, it's the blue. Just dropped something. Go ahead and tie a knot. Now you can see here the seam from your previous slip stitches, so we're going to go ahead and turn it over. So we have the right side how we want it. Now we're going to do our shells. The first thing we're going to do is chain 3 for your first double chain. That will count as your first double chain. And you want to take your strands of yarn because we're going to bury them in the shell. So keep them to the side. Now you're going to yarn over, go back in the same stitch, yarn over. You should have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. So now you have 2 double chains in the same stitch. You're going to chain 1. Now we're going to do another double chain, yarn over, go through the same stitch, yarn over. Now we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. So you have 3. You have 2 double chains, chain 1 and 1 double chain, and we're going to do another double chain in the same stitch, and that will complete your first shell. And that's what your shell looks like. Now you're going to skip 2. So you're going to skip 1 and 2 and go into the next. Keep your yarn buried, these yarn ends buried. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And your work looks like this. So now you're going to do another double chain in the same stitch. So you have 2 double chains and chain 1. And now we're going to do 2 more double chains in the same stitch. And you have 2 shells. So now we're going to skip 2 spaces and then do another shell in the next stitch. And you can pull on your strands, keep them buried. Yarn over. Chain 1. And then 2 more double chains in the same stitch. So 2 double chains, chain 1, 2 double chains for your shell. Do that one again. And your work should look like this. Now I'm going to skip 2 spaces again and do another shell. So now what we're going to do is just cut those loose ends that we were trying to hide behind the shells, just to make it look a little nicer. Make sure you don't cut your work. And that's how your work looks so far. So you're going to keep doing a shell and skip 2 spaces in between each shell until you have a total of 14 shells around. And then come back and I'll show you the next step. So your work should be looking like this, and I'm going to go ahead and finish the last shell for a total of 14 shells. Now we're going to slip stitch to the beginning shell. And this is how your work should be looking. Now we're going to do the next row. So what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch to the next chain 1 space. So in the next stitch over, you're going to pull up the yarn, pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. That's a slip stitch. And then slip stitch into the chain 1 space. So now you're in the chain 1 space. And what we're going to do is chain 3. So that will be your first double chain for the next shell. And we're going to do a shell in this spot. So another double chain, chain 1, and then 2 more double chains in the same stitch. So now you have a shell in that first chain 1 space. Now in the next space over, right here, you're going to do a double chain. 1 double chain. Now in the next chain 1 space, you're going to do another shell. So you have a shell, 1 double chain, and then in the next chain 1 space, you're going to do another shell. Chain 1, double chain. So your work looks like this. Now you're going to do another 1 single double chain into this spot right here. Now we're going to do another shell into the next chain 1 space. And in the next spot, you're going to do a single double chain. So now your work should look like this. So you have a shell, 1 double chain, a shell, 1 double chain, a shell, and 1 double chain. Now we're going to make the armhole. So there are 4 shells in the armhole. So you're going to fold your work like this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 shells that are going to make up the armhole. So you're going to do one double chain into this spot right here. So you can see how I folded. You have the one double chain and the one double chain and then the 4 shells that you skipped. So you should have 3 shells in the front, and then you're going to have 3 more shells on the back, and then this will be your other armhole. So basically you skipped 4 shells, you did a single double crochet into the space between the shells, and now we're going to do a shell in the next chain 1 space. Now, in the next space, you're going to do a single double crochet, and then in the next chain 1 space, you're going to do another shell. And you're going to do another single double chain into the next space between the shells. And then you're going to do your 3rd shell into the next chain 1 space. Now, into the next space between the shells, you're going to do a single double crochet, and then you're going to skip the next 4 shells, and then you're going to do one single double crochet into the space between the shells. Then you're going to slip stitch into your initial shell. So for this row, this is how your project is looking. So you have 3 in the front, and you have 3 in the back, and then you have the 4 skipped shells on each side for the armholes. And this is how it looks. Okay, now for the next row, you're going to do a slip stitch and another slip stitch, so you get into the first chain 1 space of the shell. So now you're going to do another shell. So you're going to chain 3, and you're going to do a shell into this chain 1 space. So 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and you have your shell for the next row. Now, for this next row, what you're going to do in the space in between each shell in your previous single double crochet, you're going to do 2 double crochets. So in the previous row's single double crochet, you're going to do 2 double crochets. And your work looks like this. So you have a shell, and then you have 2 double crochets, and then the next chain 1 space, you're going to do another shell. So in the next previous row's double crochet, you're going to do 2 double crochets in that spot. So your work looks like this. So you're going to do this all the way around, and then I'll show you how to do the next row. So your work should be looking like this, where you're doing the shell, and then you're doing the 2 double crochets in the shell and the 2 double crochet. We're coming up to the end of this row. I'm going to do 1 more shell and another double crochet before I slip stitch. I wanted to show you how to make sure you're doing the under the arm correctly. Okay, so I just finished the shell, and then under the arm you can see how you have a little bit of a V, upside down V there. We're going to do 2 double crochets into that spot, like so. There's 1, and we're going to do 1 more. Now we're going to do a slip stitch to the top of your beginning shell, and you finish that row. Now we're going to start on the next row, and what you're going to do is slip stitch into the next stitch to get to the chain 1 space. So we're going to slip stitch again into the chain 1 space, and now we're going to do a shell. So chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, and 2 more double crochet for a shell. So for the next row, you finished your first shell. Now on the previous row, the 2 double crochets that you did, in between those 2 double crochets, you're going to do 3 double crochets. So in between, you're going to do a double crochet, and you want to do 3 double crochets into this spot on the previous row. So now you should be able to see the pattern here, where you have the 1 double crochet, and then you had 2 double crochet, and now you have 3 double crochet. And the next chain 1 space, I'm going to do another shell. Then in the next double crochet on the previous row, you're going to go in between those 2 double crochet and do 3 double crochet. Now you're going to go into the next chain 1 space and you're going to do another shell. And you're going to do this all the way around. After you've completed that, just come back and we'll do the next row. Alright, I'm coming to the end of this row and I'm doing the 3 double crochets into my previous row under the arm, last arm. And now I'm going to slip stitch to the first shell. Now I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch. And then slip stitch into the chain 1 space. Now we're going to do a shell into the first chain 1 space. So chain 3, double crochet, get that tricky, chain 1, double crochet, and finish the first shell for the next row. Now what we're going to do is in the previous rows, 3 double crochet, we're going to do 2 double crochet in between each space, or each of the double crochets. So on the previous row where you did 3 double crochet, we're going to go in between the first 2, right here. And we're going to do 2 double crochet. Here's 1. And 2. So now you're going to go in between the next 2 double crochet on the previous row and do 2 more double crochet for a total of 4. So we have our shell, and then we have our 4 double crochet. Now in the next chain 1 space, you're going to do another shell. So on the next previous row of 3 double crochet, in between each, you're going to do 2 more double crochet. So in between the first 2, it's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then in between the next 2, we're going to do 2 more double crochet. So you can see we have a shell, 4 double crochet, shell, 4 double crochet, and you're going to do this all the way around, and then I'll show you how to do the next row.